Hello, this is Daily Recall on February 19th, 2026. February 19th, yes. I'm Tom Stoukas, coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. So, what's Jason Kenney's been all over my Twitter feed all day. He's he's calling all the people who want end to mass immigration. A lot of the groups calling for it. He's got a big feud with them, calling them Nazis and white supremacists, racists, all that stuff. So we're gonna look at all the Jason Kenney stuff today, and some more reaction to the Canadian government yesterday. They were saying about they're gonna start recruiting foreign people for the military, foreign like immigration via the military. So immigrate to Canada and join the military. Bring your family too. Like, so a lot more. We saw the initial reaction yesterday, but a lot more today too. So yeah, it's like they're trying to bring a mercenary army in to not to defend us, but to kill us maybe. Not funny, but it's horrible. It's horrible. So, and this guy, Jason Kenney, he's one of the people that helped destroy Canada. Weak men like this. Look at this guy. He was like in the Conservative Party. He was like one of those young politicians. Like from a young age, he wanted to be prime minister. The 40-year-old virgin, I guess. I remember that. He was like a virgin. He's like a 36-year-old MP, and he's like still over. For some reason, they were saying he said he was a virgin, and I don't think he's ever been married or has kids, whatever. But he's got this, and so he was immigration minister under Harper, and then he became Alberta premier, where he became like a COVID commie, just like Doug Ford, and then he got chased out of office, like by his own party. So I don't even know why he talks anymore about immigration in Canada. He's irrelevant. Just like Aaron O'Toole, he got kicked out of his position because he's a loser and weak. And guys like Jason Kenney and Aaron O'Toole and all the other usual suspects that got turfed out of their job, you know, they're irrelevant. Like, why would anybody listen to these guys? You know, yeah. I can't believe it. Like, so anyway, there's more like this. Jason Kenney isn't. There's Jason Kenney. I'm sure Doug Ford would be talking like this if he wasn't the premier. So basically, he started fighting with Dominion Society and Second Sons. So his Second Sons, he's calling them losers cosplaying as neo-Nazis, not the future. Why the COVID masks, fellas? If you're so sure the Canadians agree with your racism, why not show your faces, you gutless cowards? This is Jason Kenney, little weasel. He's such a traitor. By the way, the red ensign is not your hate symbol. 110,000 Canadians died under the flag. 45,000 of them were fighting fascism. Stop desecrating it. So he's saying they're cosplaying as neo-Nazis, but this guy's cosplaying as an Indian. So which one's worse, I guess? So he's just leveling all the names at them. Neo-Nazis, gutless cowards, hate symbol, using the flag as a hate symbol. Like basically everything under. He spends more energy attacking Canadians than he does liberals, like selling out Canada, the liberals, for 10 years. He spends more energy attacking these guys than he does the liberals. And that's every conservative. That's Aaron O'Toole. It's any conservative or professed like Canada first person. in these parties, in these conservative party, they spend more time attacking these guys than they do the actual people destroying the country. It's the same thing happened in Australia too. So Second Sons is like, shut up, old man, future is now. It's like, seriously, any guy under 30 in Canada is not going to give a shit what Aaron O'Toole says or Jason Kenney says. Like, literally, I don't know why they're even tweeting. They got nothing better to do, probably. They need the engagement because they feel when they got kicked out and their political careers are over, they got to try and do something, I guess. That's all I can think of. But they're getting hammered. They always get ratioed, and nobody's like coming there supporting them, except for Wyatt Claypool, maybe. Wyatt Claypool would totally support Jason Kenney. All right. And funny, he says about the COVID mask. They wear a mask for a reason, okay? I read a good article by one of the Second Sons people. It's very perfect, makes perfect sense. It's a good article, read it. But, yeah. Nobody cares, Jason Kenney. You're done. Nobody likes you. Okay. Something fishy about that guy, too. I'm sure maybe he's in the Canadian version of the Epstein files. Next, Greg Wycliffe talking about Jason Kenney. Canada's high trust society is being destroyed by mass immigration and demographic change. You can write as many essays as you want about us being racist. We simply do not care. We're focused on solutions. So yeah, Jason Kenney was talking about how remigration and mass deportations is basically racist and shouldn't, like, it's not a solution. So it's like he just wants to go back to the slower, a little slower immigration. Same policy, just a little slower. So when you can't win, you just call them names, I guess. Here he's saying, Jason Kenney saying, as Canada's longest serving Minister of Immigration, I implemented the most wide-ranging and profound reforms to strengthen Canada's system in decades. But he was also instrumental, though, in flooding Canada with Indians, turning what was once a highly selective immigration system into an industrial pump house hooked straight up to the sewers of Mumbai. You are the architect of this disaster. You can mew all you want about racism. Oh, sorry. We don't care about your scare words. You have zero moral authority. They're all going back, and you will go down as one of the worst traitors in the history of our country. Yes, he is a total traitor, just for the COVID, but even this too. You're not coming back, Jason. Harper government highlights record number of Indian travelers students. Here's this. Government of Canada welcoming growing number of Indian visitors, students, and immigrants. Here's Jason Kenney heavily focused on increasing economic immigration from India, which became a top source country. He worked to reduce visa backlogs, improve service efficiency in Chandigarh, and promoted crackdown efforts against fraudulent immigration consultants. Okay, key aspects of Kenney's approach to Indian immigration included record growth. By 2012-2013, Kenney oversaw record numbers of study permits and visitor visas issued to Indian citizens. So basically, yeah, Trudeau flooded the country, but Jason Kenney set the table right for him to do it. And they're all on the same side. If the Conservatives were in power and the Liberals were the opposition, they would have flooded the country with Indians, just the same. He thinks his opinion's still relevant, Jason Kenney. So here he's doubling down. He's saying, I see some people are upset about my characterization of Daniel Tyrion and his Dominion Society as racist. They claim that he's just questioning mass immigration and do so is not racist. So he agrees. Jason Kenney says opposing mass immigration is not racist, but he says he opposes mass immigration, but he means the Trudeau levels, not the ones he was setting up. All right. Anyway, he's saying how good he was as immigration minister, whatever. So he's basically, he's calling out Dominion Society, saying they don't want any, they're against Indians and basically Africans from immigrating to Canada, or outnumbering Canadians from the original ethnic character and all that. So basically he's saying, don't talk about it. You're just become India, you know. That's all he's saying. If you don't want to become India, you're racist. That's what he's saying. Here's this. This is in the Hill Times. Jason Kenney, when he was immigration minister. Secretary of State of Curry in a hurry. What day was this? February 19th, 26. Oh, okay. It's a funny picture. Maybe it's AI, I don't know. And even some other reaction to Jason Kenney. And I think Keen Bex is seeing where the wind's blowing on this nationalist stuff. He's become a little more hardened in that. He was kind of skating in the middle there. This is what he's saying. This is what Kenney puts forward as his best proof of the group is racist. The idea that these groups vote as blocks for their interests was the premise of Kenney's entire adult career. Yes. There's him, Tory MP Jason Kenney, spending as much time as he can in GTA targeting ethnic minority voters. Well, they all do that. That's the thing. Indian diaspora votes to protect their interests. Chinese diaspora votes to protect their interests, and so on. Time for heritage Canadians to protect our interests before we're replaced entirely. Time to take this seriously. Existential crisis. It is, like, if you wait a few more years, it's not going to matter. It might be already too late. But Jason Kenney's fine. He'll get set up with some kind of board appointment or some stupid political appointment. He'll do fine. Okay, here's Jeremy Mackenzie on it, who was the target of the Jason Kenney's ire against Second Sons. Here is politicians don't. He's talking about Jason Kenney here. Politicians don't actually care about racism or believe in anything at all other than their careers and accumulation of power. They know they're losing control and are relying on an old bludgeon that no longer works. They have no answers or ideas, just hot air and lies. Yeah, basically, Jason Kenney just, all he could do was insult. Like, he won't even go and debate anybody. He just tweets. He's a coward, a weasel, and a traitor, all rolled up into one. Here's Candace Malcolm from Juneau, who she had Daniel Terry on from Dominion Society. And this is what sparked all this Jason Kenney indignation at a nationalist, the Canadian nationalist being platformed. Sounds so woke, like a woke little bitch. Jason Kenney is. So she's, so basically she's talking to Jason Kenney saying how Juneau News had the Dominion Society on, right? So it's so woke that he wants to have them censored. Look, It's disgusting, really. All these conservatives they got to grow up, they got to stop being such weaklings. So basically she's saying, you admit this is all in response to my podcast, even though you won't reply directly to me. Great, come on my show and let's have a real discussion. So he spoke up about her having Daniel Terry on the show. So, but he won't go on. He's a coward. So basically, he's not only complaining about the Dominion Society's views or second thought. He's complaining about a news organization, Juno News, for doing an interview with him. So now Jason Kennedy's like, he's worse than the Liberals, man. You can't have an even interview with somebody. He's a coward, a weasel, and a traitor. They couldn't wait to get rid of him in Alberta. Little weasel. All right. So let's go to the immigration file. We'll get some more reaction here to this military effort to bring in military recruits from foreign countries. Yeah, what could go wrong? Makes no sense. They basically chased all the killers or the guys capable of doing the military job, mainly white guys. They basically chased them all out of the military. I remember they disbanded one unit for some shit they did in Somalia. And they basically tarred the whole armed forces as these, depraved lunatics, so they had to be disbanded. And they've been doing that since the 90s, and now, because nobody in the right mind, especially after the last 5-6 years, is going to join the Canadian military with the current leadership. So now they're getting they're offering incentives to bring in foreign recruits. And look at the headline here: Ottawa shakes up immigration system to bring in military recruits. Pierre Poilievre hasn't said anything about this. He's wishing everybody happy Ramadan, but he hasn't said anything about this. That's interesting. You would think this is a no-brainer as an opposition leader to say something. So a lot of reaction to this still. And like I said, none from Pierre, though, or conservatives, which is weird. Maybe they don't want to alienate their base who plans on applying. They probably think, all the Indians are like, yo, bro, apply for the military. It'll keep you for sure. And then the military will be all Indians. And they'll be doing those stupid parades like they do in India where they twirl around. But yeah, maybe you should just make the military attractive to the people who are going to be performing, who have performed throughout history, Canada's history. Make it attractive for them instead of bringing in foreigners. But I'm surprised Pierre hasn't said anything about this. Maybe he won't, though. Here's Canadian Patriot. Canadians won't join the military to support a regime that hates them, so they're planning to fill the ranks with foreign mercenaries to do their bidding. These actions are a threat to both Canada's national and domestic security. Yes. And look at the article, and Mala Subranami, she's probably a couple of her cousins are going to join up. All right. And here's more on immigration. This is another thing we talked about is food banks. Nobody wants to donate to food banks now because a lot of newcomers are abusing it. They're getting their government money, and then instead of buying groceries with that money, they're going to the food bank and getting free food. There was a lot of Indian videos on the TikTok and whatever on how to get free food in Canada. And now the food banks are all crying that nobody wants to donate to them. And the government had to bail them out a little with, I think, $20 million. So this Sammy says, oh, a couple comments here on the food bank. And I saw on the news just now, 30% of food bank people in Toronto have requested halal food. 30%. So there you go. Let's bring on more. Okay. This is an example why a growing number of Canadians don't donate to anything anymore. Why aren't their own people feeding them? Don't they call white food disgusting and dirty? Okay. Here's food banks in Canada should start checking residency status and income levels and restrict their services to Canadian citizens and PRs in need. Not even PRs. Otherwise, idiots like Say Oma Akin, Nigerian grifter in Winnipeg, will continue promoting them as free food for everyone. Why is there a Nigerian dude in Winnipeg? Seriously. Seriously, like... Okay. That's about as far as Nigeria as you can get. Winnipeg. Let's watch this video.
Community that supports you. So, if you ever feel shy about visiting
this is a Nigerian.
Don't be. Today, I stopped by at one of the food banks here in Canada. And honestly, this place is a blessing to so many people. A lot of people think food banks are only for those struggling. But that's not true. Everyone uses the food bank. New immigrants, students, single adult families, everyone. In Canada, you really don't have to go hungry. There is always a place like this ready to help you with groceries, snacks, and essentials. And the beautiful part, you can also become a volunteer and give back to the same community that supports you. So, if you ever feel shy about visiting a food bank, don't be. It's for all of us. Canada truly takes care of its people.
And there you go.
And finally, we are creating a new...
That's the message they're sending back to Nigeria. It's ridiculous. Like, and Sarnia, we live in Sarnia, and I'm sure they're bringing in people from Nigeria. But it's like, how the hell do you get from Nigeria to Winnipeg or to Sarnia? It's like, I don't know. But I've seen lots of videos like this, but Indians saying to the Indian viewers how to get free food. Now it's Nigerians. Nigerian princes. It's like he totally gets it wrong. He says Canada takes care of it. No, it doesn't. But they're basically saying, come, just open the floodgates. Nigeria, India, Africa, wherever, come on in. All right, here's Pierre Poliev. So basically you got the government bringing in foreigners to run the military. You got millions of people whose visas are expiring, who fully expected to stay from the start permanently in Canada. Were basically promised Canadian citizenship. But even, like I said about the military, foreign military initiative, nothing from Pierre, but this is what he says. He'll say, this is about 10 hours ago, non-citizen criminals must no longer receive preferential treatment in our justice system. Conservatives will put law-abiding Canadians first. So this is all he has as an opposition leader. Like, that's low-hanging fruit. I say it's low-hanging fruit because should be like, yeah, no shit. It's like, it's something that doesn't even need to be said. What needs to be said is, as an opposition leader, is say, hey, you react to the government initiatives. And the government initiative is to bring in foreigners to the military as a immigration program, as a new immigration program. So he won't touch that for some reason. I don't understand that. Unless there's a lot of Indians planning on joining the military. Indians for Pierre. Yeah, he barely talks about immigration. And when he does, it's this low-hanging fruit. Just illegals. Doesn't matter about the millions of legal ones coming in, joining our military. He won't say that because he doesn't want to sound racist. Anything anti-immigration, except the hardened criminals. He'll say all he wants about the hardened criminals, but he won't say about the millions of other ones flooding in. Here's Jeremy McKenzie, a former military guy. He's talking about the military, foreign military initiative. The intent is to protect the state from the people. We only have 17,000 regular force soldiers remaining, and Ottawa's top concern is civil unrest. They imagine fighting you. Foreigners will have much less of a problem doing so. This has been telegraphed for 5+ years. Yeah. Canada bringing in immigrants to join the military because their military is obviously useless as it stands. But also, who do we imagine they will be fighting? They will be fighting you, yes. Yeah, we saw that yesterday. I don't know how they think this is a good idea.
To attract highly skilled foreign. And finally,
almost like a
we are
joke.
creating a new category for skilled military recruits to attract highly skilled foreign military applicants. Eligible recruits with a job offer from the Canadian Armed Forces, including doctors, nurses, pilots, can be invited to apply for permanent residence. They will be subject to the same security and all military requirements. This new category will support our government's commitment to strengthen our armed forces, to defend our sovereignty, and to keep Canadians safe.
By bringing in a bunch of foreigners.
This category and other priority categories supports Canada's defense industrial strategy, which Prime Minister Carney announced yesterday, by adding a range of workers critical to support our sovereignty and security.
Canada's new government.
All right.
And finally,
Yeah, we saw this yesterday, but I just thought we'd see it again. But yeah, there's still a lot of reaction to it. Here's another thing on immigration. James Dewick, I don't know who that is, but I was wrong. I thought the biggest issue in Canada was taxes, corruption, and freedom. The usual stuff. No, the biggest issue is immigration. Not just who comes in, but who gets to stay. We are bringing in millions of people who don't share Canadian values, and they are still here. Yeah, that's the issue. Like, anything else is a waste of time, unless you deal with this issue. And there's millions of them that are due to leave. A lot of them are Indians, and they, like I said, they would rather die than go back. So there's going to be like an amnesty or something. I'm sure between the Liberals and the Conservatives, they'll do a path to citizenship just to clear all the backlog, because they don't want to leave. They have expired visas and they don't want to leave. Like, ugh. And now even the restaurant associations, the corporate restaurants, are saying, "Oh, if you get rid of all these people, all the restaurants will close." This is a classic argument, and I was like, so let's say, a lot of these restaurants, there's a lot fewer independent restaurants anymore. There's fewer and fewer every year, and they're struggling. But a lot of these restaurants and fast food places that are open, or corporate chains or franchises, they're owned by people who see them as an investment, and they bring in all these foreign workers to do the job, and they get the profits, right? So what's it going to hurt? Is it going to hurt us if half these places close? As long as you send back the workers who were coming in to fill all these places, you send them back, and then you keep the regular staff to work the remaining 50% of the restaurant. I don't see a problem with it. So that's their argument. It's like, oh, if we kick out all these people, the restaurants will close. And it's like, well, there'll still be some left. Nearly 60% of Canadian restaurants say they won't be able to hire staff due to recent immigration cuts. So those 60% of restaurants are the ones I talked about. It's just absentee owner, in it for the buck. not part of the community, just there to pump out some money, bring in some illegals to do all the work. So yeah, if a restaurant in Canada, if they say we can't operate without all our foreign staff, we'll have to close, then they should close. And here in Europe, they're talking about the same thing as in Canada. Migration can provide the manpower for European defense. So yeah, they're creating a pathway to citizenship in return for military service will help Europe stand on its own. So they're doing the same thing as Canada. Which, you know, Carney's a very pro-European guy. He hung out with them for many years. And they're going down the same road as Canada. Identical policies, really. Here's another reaction. I don't give a fuck if you identify in the left or the right. This is the wrong move in every way. And nearly every veteran with a lick of experience will tell you a mercenary-based military is never a good thing. And that is exactly what this is. So yeah, a lot of reaction to this. And nothing from Pierre, though. This is what Pierre said. Wishing Muslims a holy month of Ramadan, sacred time of fasting, prayer, reflection, charity, and community. Ramadan Mubarak. Okay, that's what he says. He doesn't care about foreigners coming to the Canadian military. Like, that's pretty well a no-brainer as an opposition leader to say, hey, man, this is horrible. This is the worst idea ever. But I don't think he has to wait for that poll to come out first. Then he'll say something. He'll say something in a week. Here's Cosman Zuzur. They spent a decade saying the Canadian military, more than a decade. They spent a decade saying the Canadian military is systemically racist and a pillar of white supremacy. I remember after the Somalia thing. And now they want to import a foreign army because nobody's signing up anymore. So yeah, a lot of reaction to that. But the interesting is the lack of reaction from the opposition leader on something that's clearly an easy, like it's almost like a free shot to the head. But they won't do it because their Indian base probably is like salivating over this. They're thinking we can go to the Canadian military. They probably think it's a joke anyway, or if it's anything like. And anyway, they'd rather die than go back to India. So if they have to sign up for the military, they will. Because it's not just experts they're going to go for. They're going to go for recruits too. Especially the millions that are still here. So, yeah, nothing from Pierre though. Just Ramadan. Ramadama ding dong from Pierre. So yeah, that's Jason Kenney, Pierre, Aaron O'Toole. They're all the same. They all they care about is their position, their bank account. Bob Bailey, our local MP, what's her name? Marilyn Gladu, our Israeli visiting MP. So yeah, they all care about themselves, and now they're getting an army to protect them. At the same time, they're taking guns away from Canadians. Instead of arming Canadians. Anyway. Horrible stuff. So that'll be it for today. So don't let it depress you though. Next broadcast is February 23rd. We'll see if the U.S. starts bombing Iran this weekend. That'll be the watch for me this weekend. And so until then, have a nice weekend.